Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to this week's project. This week I have a piece of something. I don't know what kind of wood it is, so if you know, let me know down in the comments. I don't know if it's maple or some kind of, I'm not sure what. So the idea going into this is to make a lidded box. Starting out with the roughing gouge. I started out with the roughing gouge at around 600 RPM. Here I believe I've been able to increase the speed as it comes into a little bit more round. This was at around 900 RPM. Now deciding where the top and the base are going to be, and also going to make tenons, because they're going to be parting off the top. And then first working on the main piece, the bottom, and then the top. Now I've switched over to the Carter & Son bowl gouge. I didn't mention the roughing gouge was also Carter & Sons. I'll leave links to all the tools in the video description if you want to check them out. And I'm just deciding where to part it off. So now that I have tenons, I'm taking out the drive center and putting it in the 4-jaw chuck with the tenon, and making sure the tailstock is still in use. Making some final passes with the bowl gouge. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a minute and hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell icon so you're notified when I upload a new video. Starting to shape the piece now. Going into it, I wasn't sure what kind of shape it was going to be. And at this point, I've decided to have a simple tapered shape on both the top and bottom. And I sanded from 80 grit to 320 or 400, can't remember. Using the saw to remove the top, and now I'm going to be using a Forstner bit in the drill chuck to start the hollowing process. This makes it much easier to do the hollowing, especially in a small piece like this. Made a secondary hole with a smaller bit because the Forstner bit wouldn't reach all the way there. With the bowl gouge now to start to take some material off on the inside of the piece. And here I've switched over to the Easy Wood Tools #1 hollower. started out with the bowl gouge, but it's difficult to use a bowl gouge in, you know, something that of this diameter, at least for me anyway. And using the skew chisel as well comes in handy with pieces like this. I know this is not the intended use for it, but it works. Having a second round with the Forstner bit as the opening, as the hollowing process allowed the Forstner bit to get a little bit more depth in there. Denatured alcohol to clean the dust off before I apply the sanding sealer. And the sanding sealer is, it's a Zinsser's brand sealer, and I mix it with 30% denatured alcohol. And a Scotch-Brite pad to denib the piece before applying the axe wood paste and polishing paste. Really makes it pop. If you haven't tried axe yet, 15% off, code PF15. And now for the polishing paste, my favorite part. And watching it come to life, so to speak. And taking it out of the chuck, and we'll be starting to work on the top. So here I'm trying to define the inside lip area that will go inside of the bottom piece, making sure it's not going to be too tight or too loose. It needs to be just right. And more sanding. Don't worry, I won't show you all the sanding or we'd be here forever. Using some blue, royal blue spirit stain. And before anyone starts typing about using color on wood, I know some people don't like it. I happen to do it quite a bit. Not on every piece, but on a lot of pieces I like to experiment with color. So if you're a hater, you might want to fast forward through this part. What I'm doing here is taking some of the color off, removing some of the color. The look I'm going for is kind of a worn look. The intention was not for it to be royal blue and bright, covering up the wood entirely is not my intention here. after I have the color faded as much as I want. Then I put some sanding sealer on and use some Axe wood paste and polishing paste. We'll go a little faster through this since we've already done Axe on the bottom. Again, my favorite part, the Axe polishing paste. The white part that you see in the chuck is just to help hold it in there because it was a little too small for the chuck on the opposite end. So using the bowl gouge to make sort of a rounded bowl shape on the top instead of it being flat, it's rounded. This is the shear scraper. And some more sanding. Even though the piece is small, when you do a piece that comes in, different parts, I find anyway, it always takes longer. And I'm going to be parting this off. I know some people may comment that they like the pedestal look, but it was not what I was going for. I think the pedestal with the blue, it just would have taken away from the piece, I thought. I was sanding off the little piece that's left on the bottom. And here it is, the finished piece. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hey, don't forget to look in the video description for some discount codes as well, for Total Boat, for Starbond, for Axe. Until next week, peace out.